Let's talk about community and about care and what being in a community, whether that be your family or whether that be your friends or coworkers or anyone who you interact with, what being in a community could have meant about your ability to receive care, or what you might have made it mean about you. Now, as a person who has a history of people pleasing, I would no longer count myself as a people pleaser. That is not a label that I choose for myself anymore. That is not a label that fits anymore. But I have had a history of people pleasing for many years. And due to that, it was incredibly hard for me to be able to accept help in a multitude of ways, and because of a variety of reasons, right? Like, you don't just come out of the womb being a people pleaser, like, that's not a thing. But over hundreds or maybe even thousands of experiences of traumas that you might not realize as traumas, or that you maybe do realize as traumas, but over many experiences, if you are a people pleaser, or if you have ever identified in that way, it's very likely that at some point along your journey, at many points along your journey, you learned that it wasn't safe to show up as your true self, that it wasn't safe to shine as brightly as you could, that it wasn't safe to laugh as loudly or talk as loudly as you naturally want to or naturally do. You may have learned that it wasn't safe to say no. You may have learned that your needs didn't matter. A lot of these are experiences that I personally have had. That's where I'm pulling this experience from right now, is from my own experience. And as a people pleaser, as someone who learned all of those things from my experiences, from my interactions with other people, I also learned that I didn't trust them to be able to help me. I learned how to be the helper. And struggled for a long time with letting people help me in any way. Now, I will say that as a wheelchair user, I don't know if you can see it, but it's there in the shadow at least. As a wheelchair user, some of my struggle with being able to trust people and helping me is that a lot of people feel very entitled to helping me in ways that they thought that I needed, without it actually being helpful, or without it actually being in ways that I needed. But that is just one additional layer to this. It is, you can still resonate with what I'm talking about, even if you are not a wheelchair user. But let's let's focus up a little bit and talk about how you might have learned that it wasn't safe to allow yourself to be supported or helped, or how you might have even learned the story, the falsehood, that you are a burden. Now, before I get into this, I'm going to do a quick visual description real quick. I am wearing a black shirt that says in white letters, "Unstoppable." I don't know if that's forward or backwards for you, but you can see some of my arm tattoos. And there's a gray couch behind me, and a white wall, and a lamp, and hotel table stuff. And I'm also wearing a blue and green and white head buff, and gray pants. And my name is Oliver, or Ollie. If this is your first time seeing me, hi, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, part of my community, thank you so much for being here. I am very grateful to you all for being here. Let's talk about people pleasing and what we can make that mean about ourselves. As a people pleaser, when I was a people pleaser, I very quickly learned to be the helper. I got my sense of importance from helping other people. And, also for the visual description, I am fidgeting with a pinkish purplish squish cube. I learned very quickly that, I was the helper. And that people liked me being the helper. That I got a certain amount of positive attention by being the helper. And while I was learning that, through traumas and through interactions with family and through people who had their own wounds, I was also learning that my no wasn't important enough to be respected. Maybe also a content warning here. I don't know where this is going to go. It might get a little bit heavy. It might bring up some stuff of your own. Potentially going to be mentioning depression and or abuse briefly, but I truly have no plan for today's video. I'm just going with the flow, so please respect yourself. If you need to stop watching, I understand. Please take care of yourself. I learned very quickly to be the helper, and I learned very quickly that I helped other people and that I couldn't trust other people to help me. I also learned that giving and receiving care was transactional. And I learned that people helping me sometimes had ulterior motives. And it really caused me to not be able to trust myself very deeply. And it caused me to shut people out. It caused me to put up a mask. It caused me to be who I thought that they wanted me to be who I thought that they needed me to be. And all of the time while I was doing that, I was completely disregarding my own needs, which was incredibly painful emotionally and did not go well for me, as one would expect. When I say that out loud, it's oh yeah, completely ignoring my own needs was painful and not helpful for me. Okay. But in a lot of ways, I learned that I wasn't enough. I learned that I wasn't able to be loved by showing up as my full self. I learned that the love that was supposed to be conditional was unconditional, was incredibly conditional in some ways, where as soon as I stepped out of the boxes that people had put me in without my permission, that I would be punished. And I grew up thinking that I could not handle being rejected by my community because I had never I had never met anyone who had broke that pattern. And I didn't end up meeting someone who behaved in a different way towards me until I was able to break a pattern within myself, until I was able to start choosing myself, until I was able to start trusting myself again and able to speak up for myself and able to face the possibility that other people might be unhappy by my doing that. And the more that I chose myself, the more that I reconnected with myself, the more that I forgave myself, the easier it got to see that the people that I was trying to please, the people that I was trying to take care of and help, one, that they were just people who were doing the best that they could with what they had. And two, the more that I connected with myself, the more that I was able to see that their abuse, their ways of communicating love or apology, even if they didn't work for me, that those weren't about me. Like, here's an example. My dad, one of his love languages, one of the ways that he communicates love but also communicates apologies, is by buying gifts. And he's been this way for my entire life. And it was really emotionally challenging for me as a child to be wanting physical affection, to be wanting permission to feel things as deeply as I did, and to be able to take up the space that I needed to, and instead being gifted physical things. Like, I had so much resentment about that for so long, and I took it personally for so long in a way that stopped me from being able to see both myself as a person and my dad as a person. And it wasn't until I started being able to communicate my needs, until I started being able to be real in the moment, where, like, if he said or did something that upset me, letting him know, letting him see me be upset and hurt by that in the moment, and being able to be present within myself in that moment, instead of focusing outward, turning my focus inward, and being able to care about myself in that moment, instead of immediately focusing on, oh no, if I show up in this way, I'm not going to be loved. And if I'm not loved, then I'm going to be kicked out on the street. And then if I'm kicked out on the street, I'm not going to be able to fend for myself and I'm going to die. Like, my brain went to worst case scenario very easily. And when your brain is telling you a story that you're literally going to die if you show up in any kind of way that's not the perfect person, that's not the person who has it all together all the time, when your brain tells you that you're gonna die, that things are gonna get so bad that you're not gonna be able to handle it no matter what you do, that's an incredibly powerful incentive to keep ignoring your own needs, because when you're in that moment, you can't see a way out. You can't see that there's any other any other possibility. And for so many years, I couldn't see that there was any other possibility. Especially because the people in my life really liked me being the helper. They really benefited from me focusing on them. Of course they did, right? Like, they really benefited from me nurturing them, from me putting my efforts and my care towards them. And I did not benefit from doing that. I did not, I ended up being the one facing the consequences within my own body, within my own emotions. I can't figure out how to get comfortable on this chair. But, I ended up being the one who faced the consequences for that. And so, because that cliche saying about we teach people how to treat us, if you're people-pleasing and focusing all of your attention on other people, you're teaching them that it's okay to keep to 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 keep treating you that way. And that's not to victim blame at all. That's not to say that, everything is your fault. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you are experiencing if you are in a people-pleasing pattern, that alliteration, I will not be repeating that. If you are in that pattern, though, and that pattern is all that you can see, if you can't see a way out, the people in your life are not going to change that pattern for you. And that could be hard to hear, but whether they're consciously aware of it or not, they benefit from that pattern. And when you start choosing yourself, this is not where I was expecting this video to go at all. When you start choosing yourself, you may lose some people, you may lose some of those connections. Some of them may not be able to grow with you as you decide that you want better than that, as you allow yourself to receive the care that you have always deserved, that you have always been worthy of. And that can be tough. And you are also a person. You are also worthy and deserving of your own care. And sometimes that means that you have to care about yourself more than caring about their temper tantrums, more than caring about them not liking it. Sometimes, to heal from people-pleasing, you have to care more about yourself and focus inward more than you care about external responses. And that is not easy. But in the same way that you learned to become a people pleaser over hundreds or thousands of tiny little instances, you are also, because it took so many small moments of disconnecting from yourself and of trying to shrink yourself or trying to please other people even when you knew that it wasn't right for you, because that was so many small moments, connecting with yourself again, caring for yourself again, trusting yourself again, that is also a process of many small moments. Does that make sense? Going from being a people pleaser to and believing that you are a burden and that you can't be helped or that you don't deserve being supported in the ways that you need, to being able to trust yourself and to being able to ask for help, to be able to face rejection or negative responses from other people. As much as becoming a people pleaser was a process, reconnecting with yourself, trusting yourself again, is also going to be a process of many small steps. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It is absolutely a possibility. It is absolutely a real possibility that you can go from people pleasing and ignoring your own needs and hurting yourself to honoring your own needs and to being supported by a true community that care about you and want you to be doing well, truly. But it is a process. This video feels like it was all over the place, and I don't fully remember all the things that I said. So, hopefully that was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if anything I said really resonated for you, or if anything I said helped you understand something in a new way. Still sort of feeling this whole thing out, but I feel good about this video. It's always a little bit jarring when I know that I've been talking for a while and don't remember what I've said, but let me know how this was helpful for you. let me know if you have any questions about what I've shared, or if you have any questions about like how to do this, or you know what, just, I'm not going to put restrictions on it at this time. Just let me know if you have any questions, and maybe I will do a video in answer to your question, because that's fun. Thank you so much for watching. I love myself, and I love you, and I hope that wherever you are nourishing and replenishing yourself as your priority, because you are worthy, you are enough, and you are loved. I promise. Thank you so much for watching. Come on, video, stop.